Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Welcome to your news at noon. These are the top stories we're tracking. Draft local content law proposes Guyanese participation in 152 oil sector services. 19-year-old dies after being stabbed by bandits during robbery. GDF rank pleads guilty to being part of multi-million gold heist and tells court he was struggling to provide for family after being demoted. Ex-Deputy Commissioner of Police on bail for fraud and sexual assault. Team missing after dropping brother to school. Success Elementary tops NGSA performance. And family of three beaten and tied up during home invasion. And Thrapsing's Zeb Caneville murder suspect surrenders to police. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Hey, you! Going out? Want all your favorite radio stations on the go? Listen up and let's go. Anytime and anywhere. All your favorite radio stations are in one place. Listen wherever you go, anywhere, anytime. You can even listen without Wi-Fi with Go Loud on a Digicel Prime bundle. Talk, music, news, whatever you want. On the go, Go Loud. Go Loud gives you all your local radio in the palm of your hand. Go out in style. On the go, Go Loud. Download today.
And now for the news in detail. A 19-year-old man was killed yesterday by a bandit who had invaded his family's store called Deals on Electronics located at Strathspey on the east coast of Demerara. He was identified as Ganesh Prasad, also known as Chris. We understand that the youth was attacked and stabbed to his neck sometime after 16 hours. According to his father, Prasad was alone in the store at the time of the robbery, while he, the father, was in another section of the building. He recalled that his son came running towards him, holding his neck. He was rushed immediately to a private hospital but succumbed to his injury on the way. It is understood that the bandit stole Prasad's gold chain from around his neck along with cash from the store. According to the Ghana Police Force, based on intelligence received, its mobile patrol ranks were able to apprehend the suspect sometime after. In other news, the government's draft local content legislation is proposing to have Guyanese participate in 152 oil sector services so as to ensure maximum participation across the industry. In the document perused by Kaieteur, it was noted that oil companies as well as their subcontractor are expected to comply with the sliding scale targets for the respective sectors. Under petroleum agreements, the government is proposing oil companies in the upstream sector ensure 10% of their management staff is Guyanese at startup, with an increase of 20% in 3 years, followed by 25% in 5 years and 45% in 10 years. For supervisory staff, oil companies in the upstream industry are being asked to have 15% of their staff be made of Guyanese and have this increased to 65% in 10 years. And all unskilled workers are proposed to be 100% from startup to a period of 10 years. And now let's tell you, Keon King, now labeled as an ex-member of the GDF, yesterday pleaded guilty to being part of a multi-million-dollar gold heist which took place on Thursday, August 5th, 2021 at Wallison Enterprise located on Gordon Street, Kitty. 3 gunmen posing as customers entered the premises that day, cuffed the employees with plastic zip ties and carted off jewelry, cell phones, $38 million in cash and $20 million worth of raw gold. A tracker on one of the stolen cell phones assisted detectives in cracking the case as they were led to King's backyard, where they found $18 million of the stolen cash buried. King was one of 3 suspects remanded on Tuesday, August 10th by Magistrate Shirtle Isaacs Marcus for what detectives dubbed a well-orchestrated heist. And now let's tell you, a worried mom is seeking the public's help to locate her teenage daughter who disappeared on Wednesday after dropping off her brother at the Vredenhoek Primary School on the west bank of Demerara. Missing is 14-year-old Varshni Ramdas, a student of Windsor Forest Secondary School and a resident of Jetty Squatting Area, Vredenhoek. According to her mother, Ramdas was last seen around 11 hours, wearing a pair of blue jeans, a grey top, and a pair of black slippers. That day, Ramdas and her mother had planned to go to Vredenhoek Secondary School to see if she could be transferred there. Anyone who might have seen Varshni Ramdas or knows where she is asked to call telephone numbers 603-8147, 673-3793, 636-3133, or the nearest police station. And moving on, a family of 3 from LaGrange, West Bank, Demerara remains in a state of shock after 2 bandits invaded their house Thursday night, held them at gunpoint, then beat and tied them up. According to a police report, one of the victims, a 56-year-old businesswoman, was about to close her shop, and so she sent her 21-year-old nephew to lock the gate, during which time one of the armed bandits barged in at around 20 hours 30. The bandits were armed with a knife and gun. One of them held on to the nephew and dragged him into the shop, while the other rushed to the businesswoman and demanded cash and jewelry. The victim said she became fearful and started to plead with the men, asking them to have mercy. According to the police, one of the bandits took out what appeared to be a gun and put it to the victim's head and started to cuff and kick her, while the other suspect took out a knife and dealt her 2 cuts to both her thighs. An investigation into the matter is ongoing. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 14. We will return with more news after the break. Welcome back. Let's tell you that suspended chairman of the Police Service Commission and retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Slow yesterday made his first court appearance and was slapped with 3 counts of sexual assault and a fraud charge. Slow was charged in absentia back in May for conspiracy to defraud, but recently returned to Guyana to face the charge. Yesterday, when he appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts, ranks from Silku attempted to arrest him. However, their attempt was foiled by Slow's lawyers, who insisted on the matter being handled in the courtroom. In the company of his lawyers, Selwyn Peters and Patrice Henry, Slow appeared before Principal Magistrate Cheryl Isaacs Marcus. He was not required to enter a plea to the 3 sexual assault charges that were read to him. The 3 charges allege that he sexually assaulted a female member of the Guyana Police Force on 3 occasions back in 2019. And moving on, days after a wanted bulletin was issued for a 25-year-old Sion Caesar, called Ratti, the murder suspect yesterday surrendered to the police. The Guyana Police Force, in an update, stated that the suspect was taken to Regional Division 4B headquarters by his lawyer and handed over to police. He was placed in custody at the Diamond Police Station. Caesar is wanted in relation to the murder of Nelson Thomas, a minor of Caneville, East Bank, Demerara, who was killed during the course of or furtherance of a robbery. We had reported that on the night of September 9th, less than a week after Thomas had traveled out from the interior to sign for his newborn baby, that opportunity was taken away from him after bandits pounced on him and robbed him of his gold chain and his cell phone. The father of one was stabbed fatally during the attack. And moving on, out of the 13,821 students who wrote the National Grade 6 Assessment examinations back in August, it was Nirvana Wimmo of Success Elementary School who was named the country's top performer at this year's exams. This was announced by the Minister of Education, Priya Manik Chand, yesterday during the opening ceremony of the 2021 results at the Arthur Chung Convention Center. Wimmel secured the top position with 524 marks, 3 marks short of the highest attainable score of 527. The second place was shared by 2 candidates, Paris Timmerman of Chateau Margaux Primary and Deja Dat of New Guyana School, who gained 523 marks each. The Ministry of Health yesterday announced that 5 more persons who contracted COVID-19 have died. As a result of this, Guyana's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 862. The ministry reported that the fatalities are that of 2 unvaccinated persons, a fully vaccinated person, a partially vaccinated person, and another whose vaccination status is unknown. 108 new infections were recorded, bringing the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country to 34,240. Presently, there are 31 patients admitted into the ICU, 120 persons in institutional isolation, 3,614 in home isolation, and 22 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 29,613 persons have recovered from the virus. A report from the PPPC government states that Guyana received royalties of 2.5 billion Guyana dollars in the Natural Resource Fund for the third quarter of this year. That sounds like it is time for rejoicing. Christmas is coming and it is only October. That means the PPP government will get to be holier than thou and say, look, we haven't touched one penny of it. True, but government leaders are not telling Guyanese the other part of the story. The deceptive part, where they borrow billions to cover expensive projects, and the oil money will have to be used to repay the hefty, inflated loans. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Fellow Guyanese, after the newscast at 12 noon every day, I am dedicating some clips with extremely important information pertaining to Guyana's future. Please, I beg you, take some time and listen to them. It is for your interest and future generations. This is a message from Glenn Lal saying thanks for listening.